Hello friends, there has been a balloon explosion in the United States in Crandall, Texas. The balloon crashed, hitting directly on a power plant. In the available video footage, you can see the moment of its fall, with bright flashes of flame as it collided with the power facility. 2 people were reportedly injured and are currently in hospital. Witnesses claim to have heard at least 3 explosions. The first 2 were relatively weak, while the third rang out with a rumbling, neighborhood-wide explosion. The causes of the tragedy are under investigation. It is known that the balloon was participating in the Gordon Bennett Cup race in the United States and belonged to a team from Poland. The pilots of the balloon, Krzysztof Sapart and Piotr Halis, were injured and hospitalized in a Dallas hospital. Mexico continues to battle Hurricane Lydia, which has hit the region. With wind gusts reaching 260 kilometers per hour, the hurricane was considered a Category 4 on the Saffir-Simpson scale of 5 categories. The storm resulted in fallen trees, power outages in many areas, and flooded homes and streets. Traffic is temporarily suspended on some roads. Eyewitnesses on the coasts of Nayarit and Jalisco report giant waves up to 7 meters high. The National Civil Protection Service has declared a red alert level in the region and urged people to stay in their homes and monitor the situation closely. At the moment, it is known about 1 person who died as a result of the hurricane. It is worth noting that the last hurricane of such strength as Lydia made landfall from the Atlantic Ocean in 2022, causing serious damage to western Cuba and the southeastern United States. The outlook for Hurricane Lydia's behavior remains unclear for now. Emergency services are on 24-hour alert and are evacuating residents to safer areas. In the morning, 2 trains collided in the Moscow subway at Pechetniki station. One of them was moving towards the depot and crashed into the train, which was already at the station with passengers on board. The driver was trapped in the warped cabin, but rescuers managed to extract him. The machinist received a moderate injury and was hospitalized, but his life is not threatened. According to the latest data, 5 more people received minor injuries as a result of the accident. The causes of the accident will be clarified by a special commission. Meanwhile, in Thailand, due to heavy rains, there was a problem of flooding. In one of the favorite resorts, Pattaya, the water eroded the beaches, leading to erosion that reached 1 meter deep and 4 meters wide in some places. The floods have also caused traffic blockages on major highways. Local residents complain of power supply problems and that they have not received warnings of impending rains from meteorological services. However, meteorologists are now warning that up to 80% rainfall is expected in the region in the coming hours. Rescuers are working with volunteers in efforts to strengthen river banks and build protective sandbag barriers. Local residents are being asked not to try to deal with disasters themselves and to be prepared for a possible worsening of the situation. This footage was recorded in eastern Verona, where a truck collided with an apartment building. According to information published in local media, the incident occurred late at night when the couple inside the house were already in a deep sleep. The truck crashed into the wall of the residential building at full speed. Preliminary indications are that the driver fell asleep at the wheel. Amazingly, the homeowners were unharmed. The driver was extracted from the truck and taken to the hospital. All the circumstances of this accident are still being investigated. Drought in the Amazon poses a real threat to the entire region, according to a report by scientists from the Brazilian Center for Disaster Prevention. Experts believe that people who depend on waterways in the Amazon rainforest are facing a crisis as they lack fuel, food, and even clean water. Animals are suffering too. and dozens of river dolphins have died, and the surface of the remaining water is covered with dead fish. Scientists warn that this is just the beginning and the drought could continue well into 2024. A state of emergency has now been declared in 42 of Amazonas' 62 municipalities, and more than 250,000 people have been affected, with the prospect of that number doubling by the end of the year. The lack of water is even preventing small canoes from reaching the nearest town. Droughts in the Amazon, though regular, have been exacerbated this time by global warming and the El Niño phenomenon. National governments are taking action, but the battle is proving difficult. Scientists believe that more research is needed to better understand the problem. In addition, climate change could threaten the supply of beer because barley, one of the most important ingredients for its production, is sensitive to climate conditions and access to water. The annual global consumption of beer is around 200 billion liters. Beer production in Europe has already fallen by 12% between 1964 and 2015 due to changes in weather patterns. If the climate crisis worsens, raw materials for brewing could become unavailable, which would have a serious impact on the beer industry. It would also put the famous German Oktoberfest festival in question. We continue to tell you about people who follow their passions and have contributed good to this world. This time, meet Valery Volkov from the Altai region. For several years he has been creating realistic figures from plasticine. The attraction to this kind of art appeared at Valery in kindergarten, when he wanted to create something that would be really real. His plasticine cars and ships are not intimidated by either hot sun or rain. As a basis for his works, Valery uses wire and sculptural plasticine, and to give color he has to use ordinary plasticine. Thus, this childhood hobby turned into his lifelong vocation. Concluding today's issue, we will tell you about the bear cubs from the Sakhalin region. These leering animals have found a way to survive this fall. Instead of wandering through the forest in search of food, they go directly to the roads and try to stop car drivers. According to reports from locals, the bear family is believed to be motherless. Experts are asking people to be cautious, as even bear cubs can pose a real threat to humans. It is also important for the cubs themselves, as when they get used to humans they can become bold and come out to them, including encounters with poachers. Dear friends, what do you think may have caused the balloon incident in the United States? Perhaps there are experts who could clarify this situation. Speaking of climate and natural disasters, does it seem to you that they have actually increased in number, or are only discussing them more? Have you noticed any changes in your home areas, or is it still business as usual? If changes are occurring, do you think it is the result of natural processes or a consequence of negative human impact on the natural environment? Who might benefit from such changes, if they occur? And which do you think poses a greater threat to humanity, floods or droughts? Please share your opinions in the comments. May peace and goodness accompany you and your families, and don't forget to take care of yourselves and our common home, our planet, always showing humanity with a capital letter.